Hey guys, someone asked me if I could show how I do my bubbles on this particular kind of abstract. So I'm going to do my best to show you how I do it. These are a few that I've done. So we're just going to get started and see how it turns out. I am using circle templates that I got from Amazon, and I will be using Artsy Red and Ranger's Turquoise and Pinata's Yellow and maybe a tad bit of orange. I'll be using 91% alcohol and a makeup sponge. So let's just get started and see what we can do. First thing you do is lay out your alcohol and a little bit of ink, and then we're going to move it around a bit. That and yellow at the top. Just yellow at the top. So we're just going to move it around and see what we can make it become. So move it around a little bit, and then I'm going to use my air gun and just move it until I get it the way that I like it. Once it gets dry a little bit, you just start adding ink, kind of sort of around the edges, and just work it back and forth until you get the pattern that you like. I'm using a lot of alcohol to move the patterns. Sometimes I like to end up with hard edges. With the abstracts. Once you get it somewhat the way you like it, dry it off. This one's going to be okay, I think. So I like to use the makeup sponge and alcohol in a cup. I just dab it in the end of it and kind of wring it out a bit, because you don't want to do too much on your patterns. It makes kind of cool patterns on there. I'm using a dirty makeup sponge, so it's transferring some of the other colors from the other paintings that I did, but I think it's okay. You can use a clean one if you like. Some people like to use the Tim Holtz pad with his little dabber. I think the makeup sponge works pretty good in itself. You could do a DIY like I did and go out into your garage and get a dowel rod and the felt pads that go on the bottom of your chair legs. It works really good. They're very inexpensive and they're kind of cool. I'll show you what that looks like. You're going to dab it in your alcohol. You're going to kind of dab it off a bit so you don't have too much alcohol in there to change your pattern too much. You can just dab just like that, and you can see the pattern that's happening from it. Once you get your pattern the way you like it, you can start making your bubbles. Trying to distract myself. We are watching the Weather Channel because we live in Leland, North Carolina, which is right outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. And we have a major storm called Hurricane Florence coming our way. We are hunkered down with our 7 pets, and we have everything I think we need to be okay. So I think we're pretty well prepared. And if you guys are on the East Coast, please be mindful of what's going on and get prepared now, because that storm's going to be here on Thursday. Anyways, once you get it the way you like it, I think that's kind of cool. What do you guys think? I like that pattern there. So I'm going to start with a large template. I'm going to make sure that this is dry first. Make sure the back of your template is dry too, because you don't want to transfer the alcohol where you don't want it. So you dip your makeup sponge in alcohol, and then you dab it off, and you just wipe, lifting off the inks. You can dab it if you like. It kind of makes a cool effect. If you just swipe until it is good and dry. I'll do this for speed wise. You lift it, and there's your first bubble. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna do just a tad smaller one over here, and you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna dip your makeup sponge in the alcohol, and you're just gonna lift your color in the shape of the template. It makes pretty cool bubbles, I think. So once you get the biggest ones that you want done, you can move to the smaller template and excuse me, start working there. You can make half bubbles to make them appear like they're coming out from underneath. Your art piece. Forming bubbles that way, which I think is kind of cool. I'm going to do one on the top side of this one. I'm just gonna wipe it just a tad. Just make them appear like they're floating up out of the work. Do a smaller one here. Let's see. Do that one there. Just mark it a bit. Dab it and lift it, and there it is. I'm going to do one here. Let's see. that way. I'm going to dab it. And there's you another one, and I'm going to do a solid big one here. And then I'm going to do a small one right over top of it in maybe magenta, so it looks like it's floating in. And I have a little cup here that I have dried magenta in. I'm just going to dip it in there, just like that, and I'm going to mark on there. I don't want to get it to go elsewhere. There's that. Like that. Once you get all the bubbles that you like on there, you can start making your marks with a Q-tip. I'm just going to use a dirty Q-tip and some alcohol. Dip your Q-tip in and then swipe it a bit and start making your bubble marks. And that's how I make my bubbles. I think it's kind of cool. But that's how you make them. That's how I make them. Once you get all that done, you can add a few different things. Like you can actually just use the end of your Q-tip, and you can dab, making little bubbles that way. You can use your 200 gauge boiler bottle, and you can just drop ink. You can drop alcohol anywhere you like and watch the bubbles form that way. Kind of cool, I think. So I missed a little bit of a bubble here. I really want that to show up, so I'm gonna work on that there. That way. You just keep working on them till you get them how you want them. Once you get them how you want them, you can also use your spritzer bottle. And I don't like to cover the whole thing, so I just put my arm across and spritz it and let it dry. And let's see what we have here. I think that's kind of cool.